Have you ever felt a lingering doubt about your relationship? Sometimes the signs are there, whispering that it might be time to move on, but you may find yourself ignoring them, not wanting to face the reality. In today's video, we're diving into the top 5 clues that your relationship could be nearing its end. Acknowledging these signals can be challenging, but recognizing them is crucial for your well-being. If you're ready for the raw truth, let's dive in. Sign 1. Resentment and annoyance. Imagine living in a constant state of irritation, where every small action by your partner grates on your nerves. At first, these feelings of resentment and annoyance might seem minor, just small quirks that bother you occasionally. However, over time, they grow into a pervasive cloud that hangs over your relationship. Resentment and annoyance are not just fleeting emotions, they are signs of deeper issues that, if left unaddressed, can poison a relationship. When you feel persistently annoyed by your partner, it often means underlying problems are being ignored. These could be unresolved conflicts, unmet needs, or fundamental incompatibilities that have been swept under the rug. You may start to notice that your patience wears thin more quickly, and things that once seemed insignificant now trigger intense frustration. This resentment builds up like a pressure cooker, and eventually it erupts in arguments or passive-aggressive behavior. It's a sign that the relationship dynamic is skewed and that there is an issue beneath the surface that must be addressed. To protect yourself from the corrosive effects of resentment, it's essential to confront these feelings directly. Begin by honestly acknowledging them to yourself. Open communication is key. Discuss your feelings transparently with your partner. If a resolution cannot be reached or your partner is unwilling to listen without being dismissive, it may be necessary to consider moving on. Ultimately, your emotional well-being is crucial, and without it, neither you nor your partner is likely to find true happiness. Sign 2. Always arguing. When every conversation feels like a battlefield, it might be time to consider whether your relationship is sustainable. Constant arguing is more than just a minor inconvenience. It's a sign that there are deep-seated issues festering beneath the surface. When even the smallest disagreements turn into major conflicts, it's a clear indication that something is fundamentally wrong. These petty arguments are often symptoms of much deeper problems, such as unmet needs, differing values, or unresolved resentments. It's like putting a bandage on a wound that needs stitches. It might cover up the problem temporarily, but it doesn't heal the underlying issue. Imagine the toll this constant conflict takes on your emotional health. Every argument chips away at your sense of peace and happiness, leaving you feeling drained and disconnected. Instead of enjoying each other's company, you find yourself dreading interactions, knowing they might end in another fight. This perpetual state of tension prevents any real intimacy or growth, trapping you in a cycle of negativity. To break free from this cycle, it's crucial to address the root causes of your conflicts. Reflect on the recurring themes in your arguments and consider whether these issues can be resolved. Open communication is essential, but it must go beyond surface-level discussions. You need to dig deep, understand each other's perspectives, and find common ground. Remember, walking away is always an option, as a relationship with constant conflict is unlikely to provide the support and happiness you deserve. Sign 3. Lack of trust. Trust is the bedrock of any strong relationship, but what happens when that foundation starts to crumble? A lack of trust can turn even the most promising relationship into a minefield of suspicion and doubt. When trust erodes, every action becomes a potential threat, and every word is second-guessed. Picture this: constantly wondering if your partner is being truthful, feeling the need to check their phone or social media accounts, and doubting their intentions. It's an exhausting way to live, filled with anxiety and insecurity. When trust is lacking, the relationship is overshadowed by a dark cloud of uncertainty that never seems to lift. This lack of trust doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's often the result of broken promises, lies, or betrayals that have never been fully addressed. Even small breaches of trust can snowball into a pervasive sense of doubt that infects every aspect of your relationship. Without trust, there's no solid ground to build on, leaving you in a constant state of unease. To rebuild trust, both partners must be willing to work through the issues that caused the breach. Open and honest communication is essential, and both partners need to be patient and understanding, recognizing that rebuilding trust takes time and consistent effort. However, in many cases, the damage to trust runs too deep, and the emotional scars are too significant to heal completely. Some wounds just cannot be mended. When efforts to rebuild trust fail, it's crucial to recognize that sometimes the healthiest choice is to walk away. Sign 4. Emotional distance. Emotional distance creeps in quietly, often unnoticed at first. It starts with small things: fewer shared laughs, less eye contact, and a growing sense of disconnection. Over time, it becomes a chasm that separates you from your partner. Imagine sitting next to someone you once felt completely in sync with, but now an invisible wall seems to keep you apart. Conversations that once flowed effortlessly now feel stilted and forced. The warmth and closeness you once shared have been replaced by a cold, empty space. This emotional distance creates a sense of loneliness, even when you're together. This gap in emotional intimacy doesn't just appear overnight. It often develops slowly, the result of unresolved conflicts, or simply growing apart. As the emotional distance widens, it becomes harder to bridge the gap. You might start to feel like strangers, living parallel lives rather than sharing a connected, intertwined existence. Rebuilding emotional intimacy requires both partners to be fully committed to closing the gap. It takes effort, patience, and vulnerability. Sharing your feelings openly, making time for meaningful conversations, and reconnecting on an emotional and intimate level are crucial steps. However, it's important to recognize that in some cases, the distance has grown too vast, and the emotional connection cannot be restored. If efforts to rebuild intimacy are met with resistance or indifference, it may be a sign that the relationship has run its course. Staying in an emotionally distant relationship can drain your spirit and hinder your personal growth. Sign 5. Lack of support for your goals. A strong relationship should feel like a partnership where both individuals support and uplift each other's dreams and aspirations. But what happens when that support starts to wane? A lack of support for your goals is a clear sign that it might be time to reevaluate your relationship. Imagine sharing your biggest ambitions and dreams with your partner, only to be met with indifference or discouragement. Instead of cheering you on, they dismiss your goals as unrealistic or unimportant. This lack of support can be disheartening and can make you feel isolated in your pursuits. Your partner's lack of enthusiasm for your goals can manifest in subtle ways. They might avoid talking about your aspirations, fail to celebrate your achievements, or even make you feel guilty for prioritizing your dreams. This undermines your confidence and can stifle your growth. To address this issue, express how important their support is to you and how their lack of encouragement affects your motivation. Discuss your goals and dreams and encourage them to share theirs as well. Mutual understanding and encouragement are key to a healthy partnership. However, if your partner continues to dismiss or undermine your goals despite your efforts to communicate, it may be a sign that they are not invested in your growth and happiness. A relationship should be a source of inspiration and strength, not a barrier to your success. If your partner isn't willing to support your goals, it might be time to consider whether the relationship is helping you thrive or holding you back.